If you're thinking about moving to Los Angeles in 2026, finding a home can actually be a bit of a challenge, but it's not even the hardest part. From what my clients have told me, the hardest part about moving here is figuring out where in Los Angeles that they want to live. It's tough because every neighborhood is almost like a mini city in itself. Schools, prices, the style of homes, everything can vary. And even going from just one neighborhood a few blocks over to another neighborhood. And honestly, you can either nail the decision or really end up regretting it. So it's a big deal. My name is Ben Larson with the Larson Realty Group, and we're a real estate company here in the Los Angeles area. We specialize in helping people just figure out what area is the. In this video, I'm breaking down 10 neighborhoods that are definite neighborhoods you should consider if you're moving here in 2026. Some of them are trending up. Others have been favorites forever, and some may actually surprise you. We're covering everything from suburban comfort in the valley all the way to iconic beach city areas in the West Side and South Bay. Plus, I'm going to share what makes some of those different areas unique and who they may appeal to depending on your situation. Whether you just want more space, you can work remotely, or you want to be closer to the city, or you're really just trying to balance budget with lifestyle. And make sure you stay to the end because I think a couple of the neighborhoods might actually surprise you and you'll learn a little bit that you might not have come across otherwise. All right, let's jump in. We're going to start with the valley where you can get space, schools, and that classic California vibe. We're going to start here in the San Fernando Valley. And like I said, this is where you can get space, good schools, still get that classic California vibe, but not being hours away from Los Angeles and the rest of the LA area itself. First up is Woodland Hills. You're going to find that on the southwestern edge of the valley, right up next to the Santa Monica Mountains. And it keeps you where you're not too far from the Malibu beaches, just hopping right over the mountain. It's going to give you that quieter, laid back feel, lots of single family homes, tree lined streets, parks, really, just a community feel. Over the last decade, it's actually evolved into more of an affluent community, but it still gives you a little bit more space, a little bit more size, a little bit more for your money than if you're trying to be over the mountain, over the hill on the west side of LA. It's a good fit if you're looking for good schools, access to some more outdoor activities, and you don't mind driving a little bit more than if you were more centrally located. You've got big shopping and dining around the Warner Center, and then you've got your everyday amenities pretty close by no matter where you are in the area. The downside is going to be the walkability and the heat. You're going to have to pretty much drive everywhere, and in the summers, it definitely gets pretty hot, definitely warmer than other parts of LA that may get more of the coastal breezes. So definitely a couple of those things you want to keep in mind. Next up is going to be Sherman Oaks. So this is going to be more centrally located in the valley, and it's going to balance a little bit more of lifestyle and convenience for you. You're still going to get the neighborhood, the tree-lined streets, more of a community feel, but you're going to have a little bit more access to some shopping and dining on Ventura Boulevard and, of course, the Galleria. Sherman Oaks is pretty good if you're considering the commute from the valley. It's right by the 405 and the 101, so you can get right up what they say over the hill to the west side, and you've got, like I mentioned, the freeways. There's also some decent canyon routes that people can take to avoid some of the freeway traffic if they need to, depending on where they're going. And so it gives you pretty decent access and cuts down the commute time a little bit from other parts of the valley. And the trade-offs with Sherman Oaks is going to be what you see in a lot of places. It's really the price and the traffic. More and more people are finding out about it, and that affects both of those things. Now, there's more traffic, and it is driving up the prices on the home. So it's something to consider. There are definitely some of the pros I mentioned, but you got to balance out some of the cons. Can you handle that? Does it fit your budget? Are you okay with a little bit of extra traffic for the trade-off of being a little bit closer when you're considering valley locations? So the third one I'm going to talk about in the valley is Studio City. And this is something it's on the southeast side of the valley. And this is a city that you're going to consider. It's closer to the studios, closer to Hollywood. So if you're looking to be in that area and you're looking to be able to get there a little quicker, be closer, then Studio City is maybe something that you want to consider. Along Ventura Boulevard, you're going to have restaurants, boutiques, walkable strip. While at the same time, in the surrounding streets, you're going to get canyon views, some quiet pockets, and just a little bit more peace, a little bit away from the action. So it's pretty popular with entertainment professionals, especially ones that they want to have quick access to Hollywood and the studios, but they still want to have a little bit of that quieter neighborhood charm. So they really want a mix of the city that they can get to quickly, but then a peaceful place where they can come home. Now that we covered a few cities in the valley where you get a little more space, a little bit more for your money, we're going to jump over into more of a city feel, more on the west side. We're going to talk about places like Los Feliz, Culver City, get into that a little bit and give you a sense of what some of those areas are like. Now let's move in a little bit and talk about the city and the coast. These next three cities are all about lifestyle, walkability, being closer to jobs and entertainment, but they all have their own little separate vibe. First up is Los Feliz on the east side of LA. This is one of those neighborhoods where it really feels like a village inside a city. You've got historic homes, leafy streets, and a big creative community. You've got walkable pockets along Hillhurst and Vermont with cafes, bars, restaurants, and other independent shops. And then just above that, you've got Griffith Park with hiking, the observatory, and just tons of other green space in that area. It's a great option if you want some character, culture, and really just the ability to get around without being in your car 24/7. The downsides, again, are pretty much price and competition. It's been a desirable area for a while, and it is more dense, it is more congested. So you just want to know that if that's an area that you are considering. The commercial corridors can actually get a little bit intense, especially on the weekend. Next up is Culver City, and it's been a major hub for a little while with studio roots, tech companies, media companies that are moving in. There's been a considerable demand for Culver City for quite some while now. It's really centrally located. You can get to the valley, you can get to downtown, you can get to the west side, South Bay. Really an ideal location if you're looking to travel to different parts of LA. The downtown has been revitalized a while back. Restaurants, bars, shopping, lots of great things for people. That's really attributed to a lot of the demand that's come there with, again, the central location. You still have a good mix of single family homes, condos, townhomes. You got good schools, parks, and public transportation options that people do take good advantage of. And the downside, again, is price and congestion. And here, as we're going down from the list to this point, prices have actually been going up, and congestion really kind of has been going up. So you are going to find the prices here are going to be a little bit more than everything we've talked about up to this point. Congestion is going to be similar to Los Feliz, but a little bit of a different vibe. It's really drawn a lot of people into that area, not just the people that are living there, but because it has so much to offer. You're getting the people that are in the other areas that I described are easy to get to, get out to. They're also easy for everybody there to come into. So you get people coming from a lot of different areas because there is such a good draw to all the amenities and things that you can find in Culver City. And the third one you're going to find in this section is Mar Vista. And that's located just inland from Venice and Santa Monica. Even though it's located in the city, Mar Vista has more of kind of a relaxed neighborhood vibe. So you're still close to the beaches, but you're a little bit away from the chaos of, say, Venice and Santa Monica. For homes, you're going to find a mix of post-war homes, new builds where the older homes have been torn down, new construction going in, and you really still will feel a pretty good neighborhood community feel there. And you'll find some good local cafes and markets, and it's attracting families and some working professionals to that area. The cooler coastal climate is a big draw. You're not on the beach, but you still get the cooler climate, and you're really only a bike ride or a short drive from Venice and Santa Monica without paying the big prices of living there. And even though you're not paying the big prices of Venice and Santa Monica, prices have been increasing. There is more demand going there. It's still drawing a lot of people, and you are going to find a little bit smaller lots. You're not going to get a lot of space. Still, it is a city location, so you will be a little limited there as well as some other suburban type communities. So those are three great options if you want to stay a little closer to the west side and the city and have a little bit more of that lifestyle and that feel. But now we're going to move on to the South Bay. This is where you can get a little bit more of that classic kind of laid back, a little bit slower paced lifestyle, more community feel, but still along the beach and not too far from the city. Now, if you're picturing classic Southern California living that you've probably seen in movies or TV shows, then the South Bay is the place. And I'm going to go into 4 different neighborhoods that, even though they're all located in the South Bay, they have 4 very different feels, from walkability, lifestyle, space, a number of different things. So we're going to jump into that now. And first up is going to be Manhattan Beach. This is one of the most iconic, upscale LA beach cities in all of Los Angeles. You're going to get a very walkable downtown with tons of shopping and dining, a beautiful pier, and some of the most sought after real estate in all of LA County. It comes with some of the best schools in all of California. You get a great beach vibe, and you really do have kind of a park the car and walk on the weekends because it's very walkable. And with the combination of the beach vibe and the restaurants and the shopping, it's a very laid back but upscale lifestyle that people really tend to enjoy. There aren't many downsides to Manhattan Beach, but one of the big ones is another one we've talked about a lot, but it's price. And Manhattan Beach is very high demand. Prices have gone up considerably, and competition is really fierce on something whenever things do come on the market. But if those are the things you're looking for and your budget can afford it, then Manhattan Beach is the place for you. You should definitely check it out. And now Redondo Beach is still, it's a little bit more of an attainable South Bay option. Prices are still strong, but it's not quite as pricey as Manhattan Beach or even Hermosa Beach, which is just north of it. And you're still going to get an incredible beach lifestyle. You've got great beaches. Part of Redondo Beach has very easy freeway access. South Redondo is a little bit farther from the freeway, but you get the Riviera Village. So you've got a lot of great dining and shopping. A very walkable area as well in Redondo Beach. And so a lot of great pros there. You're going to find really still that California lifestyle, beach living, not quite as expensive as the neighbors to the north when you look at Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach. And you're also going to find some of the best schools in California, Redondo Beach as well. So it's a great community feel. You get lots of parks, lots of outdoor activities. So it's a really good neighborhood with a mix of a number of different things. But as with other things, because there's so many good things about it and it's in an incredible location, the prices have been driven up along with everything else in the area. But if you're looking at entry level wise, or not entry level, but price point getting in, if you're looking along the beach cities, it is one of the more attainable cities located right on the beach. So if Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach feel like a little bit of a stretch, then you definitely want to check out Redondo Beach. Third area in this section is going to be the Palos Verdes Peninsula, or what we just call Palos Verdes or PV. You're going to get a much different feel in Palos Verdes than the last two cities that I've talked about. Really any of the cities I've talked about probably, but definitely being in the South Bay, it's different than the beach cities of Manhattan, Hermosa, Redondo. You're going to get cliffs, you're going to get bigger lots, you're going to get hillside views, you'll see horses walking down the street. So definitely a much different vibe than some of the busier, even beach cities that are a little more laid back. It's even a little bit of a quieter feel there. And the Palos Verdes schools are probably one of the biggest draws people come to PV. They are always one of the top in all of California. And in addition to that, like I mentioned, you've got some large lots, you've got lots of hiking trails, a lot of outdoor activities, a little bit of a quieter pace. And the downfall, couple downsides really are it's not very walkable. You're going to pretty much need to drive just about everywhere you go. And commute wise, if you are driving and you do need to commute somewhere, it's not very freeway close. It's going to take you time to get to the airport or even to downtown. So it's really good for people that live locally or that remote work, which, we get a lot more people these days that do more remote work. And of course, prices, because it's been so desirable, prices have been driven up there as well. And we've actually seen a little bit more of a bump, especially right during and towards the end of COVID, where a lot of people were working remotely and they weren't having to commute as much. That took away one of the downsides of PV. So more people actually were able to move there. But we're still seeing a good amount of demand. We're still seeing prices hold strong. It's a very desirable area, but definitely a much different feel than pretty much any other part of the South Bay that you're going to be looking at. So definitely something to consider if that's what you're looking for. And the last city on the list is Torrance. And Torrance is a very big city. So there are many different parts of it. You're going to typically hear people talk about, and you can look at some of my other videos I've done about different parts of Torrance. But you're going to get North Torrance, West Torrance, South Torrance, and basically Central Torrance is the fourth out of East Torrance. There is an East Torrance section, but most people just kind of refer to as Central Torrance. So those are the different areas. And so it's really hard to describe it as a whole, which I will do just to give you kind of a basic idea. But definitely you can check out some of my other videos where I go into a little bit more details on some of the areas. And of course, you can always reach out. I can give you some specifics to see kind of what you're looking for and see which part of Torrance, if any, may be a fit for you. So the location of Torrance actually is really good. It does sit just a little bit inland from the beach cities, but you may have heard of marine layer, the fog that hits the beach. Torrance doesn't really get that. You're in the beach cities and you go about a mile inland and it's nice and sunny and warm, and that's pretty much when you're in Torrance. So that is one big draw weather-wise. And of course, you get a great community neighbor feel. Again, schools are some of the tops in all of California. So public schools being so highly rated, it's a big draw to a lot of parts of the South Bay. Is no different. So you get that in Torrance as well. Lots of parks, lots of walking trails. So a lot of outdoor activities. Like I said, the weather's great. So, and you are really close to the beach. And actually what a lot of people don't know is that there is a Torrance beach. So there's a stretch just south of Redondo that actually has a Redondo beach address, but it technically is the city of Torrance. So you do get a little bit of Torrance beach access, but most of Torrance is more city, but it is neighborly community. You get good neighborhoods, sidewalks, walking trails, ride your bikes. So it's got that good community feel. So, and the downsides of Torrance can be really depending on where you are. Some parts of Torrance can be pretty far from the freeway. Other parts are really close to it. So it depends which part of Torrance you're in, depends on what's important to you. You know, prices are, can vary quite a bit from one part of Torrance to another. And the parts that are in the south or the west part of Torrance have gotten to be pretty high. And those are areas where you are still pretty close to the beach. But so there's some of the downsides is, maybe commuting depending on where you are. Prices can be getting up there in certain areas, but it's a really good mix and it's a good city to consider because you're going to get good schools pretty much in most of it if that's important to you. But you can, depending on where you are in Torrance, you can get in at a different price point. You can commute easier. So there's different things depending on what works for you. And that's really just you got to figure out what's important to you and reach out and talk to me or someone that knows the area that can kind of help point you in the right direction. So that's your South Bay snapshot. You have high-end, walkable living in Manhattan Beach, a more attainable coastal lifestyle in Redondo Beach, big views and quiet streets in Palos Verdes, and everyday practicality with great schools in Torrance. So those are 10 LA neighborhoods that I think are worth a look if you're moving to Los Angeles in 2026. We talked about the Valley, the West Side, and the South Bay. The best fit for you really depends on budget, commute, schools, and lifestyle. So those are the things you got to think over. And when you figure out what the priorities are, then hopefully this video will help you hone in a little bit on which areas you want to check out first. There's a video on the screen right now talking about some of the different areas. Feel free to check that out or any of my other videos. Comment below and tell me which area you think is a fit for you. And also in the description, check out, I have a link to a guide moving to LA, an LA relocation guide. So check out the description of the video and you can get that information there. So again, this is Ben Larson with the Larson Realty Group. Thanks for joining.